Mtazamaji mwenzangu, karibu sana katika ikulu takatifu ya wanariadha. Wanariadha ambao ni mashujaa, mabalozi, wakilishi wa taifa kuu la Jamhuri ya Kenya. Wameleta heshima, wameleta dhahabu, wameleta fedha, na pongezi kwao wote. Mwaka ambao umeendelea kuyoyoma, tunawashukuru sana. They've kept me humble, they've kept me busy, they kept me enlightened, humbled, and I want to represent them with dignity and respect and honor that they've brought to our country of Kenya. And let me just stretch this and say globally, I think I've come to deeply appreciate athletes in their professionalism, in their art, in their performance, in how they've personally inspired me to an extent whereby I can say, tuko riadha, this is 9-3. Episode 9-3, my friend. We've come a long way. We are aiming for the century episode 100. It's coming. Hey, it's your friend JKKC, my man, my lady, my human being, my comrade, my excellent friend in where you are. Welcome to this episode where we challenge ourselves to have a moment of reflection as the year winds down. My friend is winding down quickly, is winding down in style, hopefully. There's a lot to appreciate. There's a lot to say. It's been great. There's a lot to say, what could have been done better? Yes, what could have been done better? We have a lot of things to say we could have done better. As a human being, as a species, as a global trotting ambassadors, yes, we have a lot. But again, this is your friend, and I am humbled to be here. There's a series or commentary or something that Paramount Plus has rolled out with Christian Pulisic, the AC Milan player who was formerly Chelsea. Is the American captain. These parts of the world can produce that good. Yes, they have a captain in Captain Christian Pulisic. I have not watched it. I don't know whether I will. He betrayed my team of Chelsea. I still watch him in Syria, in Italy. He's a great guy. But anyway, talking of captains, I'm going to just roll down. I'm going to just cross the pond quickly and look at the life a little bit of Captain Faith Kipyegon. You know, the more you look, the closer you look into the soul, into the hard work, into the upbringing, into the journey of anybody. You, me, and anybody. We have what I call a paranormal, not paranormal, we have this a laid out framework of who people are. We sometimes capture the essence, the crystallized form of who they are when they deliver gold, or they break world record, or they do things that we say, wow, what is that? That's beautiful. That's great. We cheer them. I remember watching Faith Kipyegon when she beat Trunesh Dibaba in 2016 in the 1500 meters and won gold. And I remember vividly how she hit the track, she crossed the finish line, she was in an unbelievable state of emotions. She was wailing, looking for something to say, my God, I've done it. And you could tell this is very genuine. You know, some people, orchestrate, some people work on the art of how to celebrate when they win. This was just organic. This was just Captain Faith Kipyegon on the track, in that blue track in Brazil. She was on the ground. She was just waiting. And I remember watching that. And I was like, that's a beautiful way to celebrate when no inhibitions are in place, when it's just natural from within, because it's as if something has been ruptured. I'm back to rapture. Yes, something was ruptured and it was in form of gold, winning against the best on that field, and she got gold. And I remember that moment because that moment tells me why she's come a long way. And she says that. I think I'm reading something in Al Jazeera how a journalist who has been following her career says that most Kenyans, yes, we come from that poor, somebody call it Thagrog, these dirt poor villages, household, towns, whatever. They are poor. In the standards of globally, there's some poverty that you don't just measure up, but they are poor. And she grew up and she caught wheels. The traction of her running began when she was 15 with a coach who saw talent, very young, and introduced her to running. It reminds me of most of the athletes in Kenya. They kind of get introduced. And by the way, apparently, Captain Faith Kipyegon used to play soccer. And she has a good lefty. If you could tell, she's a left-handed runner. And so I suspect she could have played for Chelsea women team. Just me parading some of these things in front of you. Yes, she's come a long way. What I didn't even know watching Captain Faith Kipyegon is that in 2011, she won the National Junior Championship cross country in Kenya, running barefoot. There's a picture of her doing it. Sometimes I have to say, I don't really understand how people came to place. We don't. We just see a picture in front of us and we appreciate it. But as I was watching Captain Faith Kipyegon, how she was running in Kenya in 2011, and she went, she went ahead. Excuse me, I gotta take a sip. Running barefoot. Running barefoot, some people take it like, I don't know. I think in this Western civilization, barefoot is looked down upon. Some people think now, some people have said, oh, it's a way they look at it as a hippie thing to do. You see hippies or people who just want to be different, having no shoes. In Kenya, it introduced this woman, this mother of one, this husband to a great runner in 800 meters, to running in 2011. And she went ahead and won she won the international race in cross country as a junior running barefoot. That's the story of Captain Faith Kipyegon. And I get humbled when I hear these stories. To win barefoot, to run barefoot against people who have maybe sponsors, they have good gear, to come out of nowhere. She comes from some parts of Keringet. I think I passed her town one time when I was visiting Kenya a few years ago. She had a big they had a big billboard before the politicians took it down and put some thugs up there as their image of the city. The city almost was named after her. That's how big of a name she is in a local place where she grew up. But of course, she has to compete against politicians. By the way, I'm concerned about sniffing around with those politicians. Just a caution to an athlete of her caliber. But yeah, she grew up there, and there's something here that I want to read to you that that is kind of revelatory. It's kind of unpacks of how far this woman has come. She even herself says this. I've come very far. I appreciate that Faith for telling us this. The story is kind to me. It just makes my ear really glorious. Before our season opening race in Doha, talking about the journey from running barefoot to being one of the country's most recognized faces. She is recognized, all right. Don't get me wrong on that. And to me, there's something here I wanted to show you that that was very interesting. The author of this article, Hadranad Finn, says this in the year leading up to the national trials, years back when Faith Kipyegon was finding her space, finding her fame, and finding her talent to be exposed and to be appreciated. This is what struck me it's extraordinary, and almost as a young person this is what happens sometimes. She says that, this author says that he remembers reading a newspaper story about Faith almost missing the national trials. She has been badly beaten by a teacher at school. Thankfully, she still ran and went on to win the junior world cross country that year. I think he's talking of 2011. This is a young girl, 15, not even 20. A teacher tried to almost, let's say, just kill her. And beating up students or beating up anybody is still part of the norm in that country where I come from. And to read that even now we are running around seeing this woman who has come to be represent the country in Paris, Tokyo, Brazil, world record holder 2,349. She was world record holder 1.45 thousand. To see that she came or she escaped the barbaric beatings of teachers and almost missed our opportunity to be whom she had become still saddens me. Sometimes we bypass these stories. Oh, so it didn't break her, so it made her. It didn't. It's not the beating that made her. It's the resilience. It's the toughness. It's the mental fortitude that made Faith Kipyegon the captain. To read that a teacher could beat somebody to this kind of shape reminds you of some of us. How teachers thought they would break us and make us amount to nothing or shape us into the butchers they are. And that's the world some of these athletes come from. And most of the Kenyans, not just athletes. And to hear that she overcame all that to the podium of being a 3-time gold medalist in Olympics and a world record holder and a decent human being and a mother and a wife makes her the greatest captain we will ever have. I'll say that. I'll say, Christian Pulisic, you need to watch Captain Faith Kipyegon from Kenya, as you are the captain of America, Pulisic. To me, this is quite the inside stuff I like to share with you guys because really, what we are watching has been refined into gold by experience, suffering, pain, torture through teachers just torturing students. And truly, they belong in the Mount Rushmore of relevance. Now, that's a new one. Mount Rushmore of relevance, because that's where Faith, Captain Faith Kipyegon belongs. I salute this woman with a lot of respect. I've spoken about her, never gonna slow down, never gonna be shut down, because to come out of the shackles and these barbaric teachers, almost ruining her career, she escapes and goes to win Barefoot World Junior Championship in cross country and move on to the next big thing. And now she has the best sponsors. I like what she says. this is what I like about people when they talk. When people talk, she looks up to Vivian Cheruiyot. If you don't know who Vivian Cheruiyot is, she's an Elgeyo Marakwet woman who won the 10,000 in Brazil. Go watch that little petite, short lady. Reminds me of Tekla, the matriarch to Larupe. She won the gold medal. Vivian Cheruiyot is Captain Faith Kipyegon mentor. Almost, they have a sisterhood and a kindred spirit. They talk, they mentor each other. They are the new matriarch in track and field. But there, Vivian Cheruiyot, she was fourth in New York Marathon the other day. Follow that career. You know why she's looking up to her? They formed a friendship on how to remember and remind themselves that running professionally doesn't last. They need to invest in something bigger and beyond running. I like when these people collaborate. And I like when these women collaborate. because they've made that country great. Hands down, they are decent human beings in their own making. Okay? So I like what Captain Faith Kipyegon said. She said she doesn't buy clothing anymore because Nike provides for her. Brilliant. You don't have to buy clothing when Nike is your sponsor. Just buy something else but clothing. She says she's streamlining her investment into a better future for her daughter and her family. What a day, my friend. These women, Captain Faith Kipyegon, my friend, you are great. That teacher never just did what he thought he was doing. And running barefoot, I didn't know that. And your mentor is Vivian Cheruiyot. Oh man, that made my reading great today. My research is always taking me to places I'm like, I'm blessed, man. I look at people at different lens when I see their background, their package. When I see their biography, autobiography, is it bibliography? What is that? That portfolio in totality. It was Tukoriada, my friend, and it is your friend. Kwa hii enzi. Hii ni enzi. Enzi, what is enzi? Ah, no. Throne, what is a throne? Yeah, is it enzi? Anyway, listen, I'm wrestling with my own language. Having said all that, the season upon us reminds us that the universe truly is still blessed, is still beautiful. Whatever you are, whatever you do, you are appreciated from this end, and I hope you continue to subscribe, you continue to like, you continue to share, because we are a community now. With my subscribers, my viewers, we are a community of love, because in Tukoriada, you never go wrong when you find out that running barefoot is still in style. Thank you to Captain Faith Kipyegon for that revelation. And thank you to Vivian Cheruiyot, the matriarch, the ultimate matriarch of track and field and running in general. Kudos, my friend. I'll see you on the other side of the pillow. I hope you're still clean.